Welcome to another edition of The Naked Truth. My name is Ramon Roan.
My name is John Singletary.
And today's topic is self-imposed slavery in Ferguson, Missouri. After the sad and tragic death of young Michael Brown, who was gunned down by a police officer, and we talked about this earlier in another video, John, but however, the facts are all not in. But what facts are in is that 67% of the population is black, only 29% white. Now, recent article here in the New York Times in Ferguson, titled "In Ferguson, Black Town, White Power." That says a lot. And so the title of this segment is Self-Imposed Slavery. Now, why would there be 67% blacks that are in the town and no black mayor? Why would it be 67% black and only 3 out of 53 police officers, only 3 that are black? Something is wrong. John, I believe you pulled up, what's the percentage of blacks voted? I'm sorry.
About 12%.
12% of blacks, right. So, now, why aren't blacks voting? Just the same problem we had with why aren't blacks participating or trying to get out of jury duty? Why are you not voting?
It's the same thing that happens right here where we live.
Right, sure.
We're in North Charleston.
48%.
The largest majority of racial makeup in the city, and we've never had a non-white mayor.
That's right.
But it's because people don't show up over a period of time, just like Ferguson, that transformed from a 74% white city to now being a 67% African American city. People have the idea, and we always hear, well, you can't do anything about it, there's no need in voting, and so as a result, that complacency sets in, and eventually you get to 12% participation, and what that translates into is a mayor in power who is not looking out for your best interest when it comes to contracts, when it comes to the police force. You can see that by 53 people on the police force and 3 of them African American. Right. That's absurd.
That is.
And so what we have to do is we have to continually fight for equality. When we get in a situation where we can, through the democratic process, vote, and we can vote someone in who is in our best interest, whether that's white, yellow, green, red, really shouldn't matter. But obviously, the people who have been and are still in power in Ferguson, just like in North Charleston, equality and proportional assignment is not on their mind. I would venture to say that someone who's African American, if they were in office, would have some key people who are African American. There would be more blacks on the police force. There would tend to be less racial profiling. And so we cannot continually blame someone else when we have the power ourselves. We have to stop giving over the power actively by voting for someone else, and we have to stop
Or not voting.
Or not voting at all.
Not voting at all.
Or by default, giving it to them by not voting.
By not voting.
We have to stop that. We have to be participants on the front end in the political process, the democratic process, not waiting to the back end when we've been taken advantage of and the cards are against us in terms of getting justice.
Right.
We have to be on the forefront.
Right. What's starting also, John, is that the unemployment rate among young African American men between ages 16 to 22, I believe 16, 20 or 16, 25, is like 50% in that town. In that town. Now, we can look at them. I would say that we didn't do it yet, but we can probably do it on the next taping. But look at the amount of city contracts and where they're going and who they're going to. If 67% of the population is black, it'd be reasonable to assume, I bet you there are probably maybe only a few blacks might be getting a contract.
Well, let's look at South Carolina. Well, let's look at
North Charleston.
North Charleston.
Right.
North Charleston. Every year, when it's time to get elected, our mayor is Mayor Keith Summey. he comes around to our black churches. He's allowed to come into the pulpit.
Yep.
And while they say that, well, we extend that opportunity to everyone, any mayor who comes to your church during the time or right before the time it is to vote, but yet when it's time to hand out contracts,
He don't come.
he becomes a phantom, a ghost. He
Right.
can't be seen, he can't be touched. Then he's not looking out for your best interest. The AKA organization, AKA Incorporated, came to North Charleston. The single largest event that's hit North Charleston since its incorporation, and the mayor failed to come and welcome them to the city.
And they spent some money here.
You know, they spent tons of money.
They spent some tons of money. Those
And he failed to come
Right.
and welcome them to the city. That was a slap in the face.
But you know he will be at every black church of significance.
Of
He'll
course.
be at every black church of significance to garner the support of the African Americans.
Exactly right. When it's time to vote. But we $4 million a year in
Legal
contracts for legal fees.
Right. Not one.
None to my
Not one.
knowledge go to
Not one.
African American attorneys.
Right. I have a friend of mine, close friend of mine. She told me, says that Ramon, a black lawyer in the state of South Carolina, don't make no money. They don't make any money. You know, they don't make any money. Don't become a black lawyer in the state of South Carolina. You better go to somewhere else. But in the state of South Carolina, you're not going to make any money. You know?
Everybody can be an I.S. Levy Johnson.
That's right.
He sets the standard.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but back to the city,
Right.
the demographics, Ferguson. We must continue to participate in the elections for mayor. We must continue to vote for people who are in our best interest. We need somebody with integrity, and that doesn't mean that just because somebody's black and that they run, that they're looking out for your best interest. It doesn't mean that someone, just because they're an attorney, just because they're educated, that they're looking out for your best interest. You need to find someone in the community who is community oriented, who has integrity, and put that person in office, because those are the kinds of things that will follow him in office. If he doesn't have it before he gets there, just because he's black or just because he's educated, he's not all of a sudden going to get it. That educated person may be working against you.
Right.
And so
we don't think that just because you have a black mayor, he should be given all the contracts to black companies. No. What we want is fairness. We want fairness in our courtrooms, but we also want fairness in business, and especially in those government contracts. And there's no reason why that you can't have a black mayor. Matter of fact, I believe we talked about Mayor Mary Barry.
yeah,
He did a lot for African Americans, allowing for the first time African Americans were able to get those contracts.
I mean, that's what I mean, they targeted him because of the contracts and the black.
Yeah, they sure
that he was
did.
making.
They sure did. But you know, with these, so you have to get a mayor with integrity.